I'm going to try to get you to think about time management a little differently than probably you think of it now. If you want to utilize time to accomplish things in your life, Alpha Male 2.0, or even things that are outside of Alpha Male 2.0, you need to consider the thought that if you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, if you're the governor of a big state, if you're the president of the United States, whatever, if you're at the high end level, okay, you don't go into work if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and just sit down and just start working on whatever you want. You don't go to work and sit out your office and go, oh, I guess I better check my email. That's not what happens. What happens when you're at that level is you walk into your office and a woman with a clipboard comes over and says, okay, you have a meeting at 8:30 with so-and-so and that'll be 2 hours. Then you have a meeting with so-and-so, that'll be 3 hours. And then you're going to go out to here and it'll be another 45 minutes. And then at 1:45, you're going to do this and this and this. It's already mapped out from you based on a plan. It's already designed for you in advance. You don't sit there the night before and tell this woman, all right, now listen, what I want to do tomorrow at 8:30, I want to have a meeting with this. And you don't do that. Now you can tell her the general direction. You can tell her what projects you need done and when you need them done. You can tell her your objectives and that you can tell her to modify your schedule based on those objectives, but you don't actually choose your own schedule, right? You don't. Nothing would get done if you did. Can you imagine if you were the CEO of a Fortune 500 company with thousands and thousands of employees all over the world and you just sat down and started checking your email or going on YouTube or working on whatever project was on your desk at that moment, how fucked up your company would be? That's not how it works. You need to duplicate as close as you can that model where a virtual woman, not literally, but pretend as if you had a full-time assistant who is mapping out your schedule for you based on your priorities. And she walks into you and says, okay, it's 8 o'clock, you're going to do this for 45 minutes. You're going to work on this, okay? Then at 10, whatever. Then at 9:30, you're going to work on this. Okay, you work on that for 2 hours. Then you have a meeting with so-and-so. Then you're going to work on this, and you're going to work on that. In other words, you take the day-to-day control away from yourself and away from your emotions. So every day when I work, every day, with rare exception, I sit down and I have a very specific written procedure that I follow throughout the entire day. Now, it doesn't literally say at 9:45 I need to work on this. That's too difficult. You don't need to do that. Instead, you need to say, okay, the very first thing I do is I work on blank. Then I work on blank for approximately an hour and a half. Then I need to work on this project. I'll work on that for maybe an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. Then at 1 o'clock, I'm going to work on this. Then at 3 o'clock, I'm going to work on this. Then at 7 o'clock, I'm going to work on whatever. I work long hours when I work. Okay? And there's no thought processes. There's no decision making on a day-to-day basis. Instead, I sit down once a week and I map out my week or I map out the next 3 days. E3D if you've read my book. Okay? You want to take the decision making process in the moment away from yourself. Because if it's up to you to decide what to do next, what are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to work on stupid busy work like checking your fucking email, okay? Or you're going to fart around. You're going to go on YouTube, watch a bunch of videos, and then you'll look up, it's been an hour and a half. You've been fucking watching political videos for an hour and a half. You haven't gotten any work. You haven't gotten any fucking work done, right? Can't afford to have that happen if you have not yet your income goals. Now, if you make all the money you want to ever make, then do whatever you want. But if you want to hit those $75,000 in US dollars, location dependent income for Alpha 2.0, or if you already make that kind of money, you want to increase your income based on very specific financial goals you've preset, you're going to have to get to the point where on a daily basis, you're not deciding what to do. The day is already mapped out for you. And the closer you can get to that model, the more money you make and the less stressed out you'll be. I make a lot of money and work really hard and I have virtually no stress. Why is that? Because everything's all laid out for me. I don't have to think about, okay, now what do I got to do? Oh God, now I got to work on this project. Oh, now I got to do this. Oh, now I got to do that. A lot of people are like that. A lot of high income people are like that. They're running around like maniacs, hitting all these fires and projects. And no, you sit down once a week, once every 3 days, once every 4 days, and you map that stuff out based on your projects. I talk about that in The Unchained Man, alphamalebook.com. You map all these things out and then you plan your days. So the next day when you start work, your day is already mapped out for you and you just go. You just kind of like a robot. Long time ago, a guy I worked with, very successful, very wealthy, very powerful guy. And he said to me something very interesting. He said, on a day-to-day basis, I let my schedule be my boss. I am not my boss. I don't decide what to do. I look in my schedule and that tells me what I need to do for the day. I don't decide what to do on a daily basis. He goes, now, 3 or 4 days ago, I may have decided to work on these things, but not in that moment. Same thing as a CEO who has a little girl following around with a clipboard. Same exact thing. You want to make sure that that stuff is mapped out and so you're ready to rock. The biggest problem with a lot of people is when they sit down and go to work in the morning, they have to spend time figuring out what to do. If you have to sit down and spend time figuring out what to do, you've shot your day. you are not effective and your time management sucks, it should be out of your hands. Figure out what to do several days in advance, make a plan, and then execute the plan. A lot easier. You'll make more money and you'll be less stressed, both at the same time. It's awesome.